Lose the battle to win the war. Let's take another stab at trying to communicate this idea of surrender. This is just another way of conceptualizing surrender. Let me explain to you real quick why I keep on hitting on this concept. The reason why I keep on coming back to the idea of surrender, why I'm gonna keep coming back to this idea of learn to tolerate your panic attack, this idea of lose the battle to win the war. I come back to this over and over again because this is the most powerful way to end your panic attacks for good. It's also the hardest way. It's the hardest because essentially what I'm saying is, most of us are, what are we really afraid of? What's the ultimate fear that you have with panic attacks? Ask yourself that right now. It's probably going to be about death. Most of us are probably going to be like, yeah, I might die, right? So surrender means allow it to kill you. Crazy, right? That is crazy. But that's what it is. Cognitively, you have to know on some level that panic isn't going to kill you. I mean, you've had how many panic attacks so far? How many have you had? Probably hundreds, right? Have you died? No. Have you come close to death? Like literally, genuinely ask yourself, have you come close to death? How would you even know you came close to death? Did you almost bleed out? Did you have to get resuscitated by paramedics? No. I think at worst, you start feeling faint. Out of all the clients, nobody actually ever fainted. There was one person who said a long time ago they might have fainted, but they also faint when they don't eat enough. And they didn't eat enough that day. So it's not clear whether that was the panic attack or they just didn't eat enough. So, but I would say that's the worst that can happen. That's absolute worst. And then what? You wake up and go about your business, right? What's the worst that can happen? What is the worst that has ever happened? Maybe worst case scenario, what? You'll get embarrassed? But then what? What then? What's going to happen? You'll get embarrassed and then what? Nothing. You've never died. You've never died as a result of panic attack. So ask yourself, what do you stand to lose by giving in? If it says, I'm going to kill you, if it says that you're going to die, if it says you're going to get embarrassed, if it says whatever is going to happen, is it actually going to kill you? You probably are saying, probably not. It's probably not going to kill me. It still feels like it is, but it's probably not. So what do you have to lose? Well, I guess the worst case scenario, what you have to lose by giving into it is your life, right? But logically, you understand that that's not really, doesn't seem like that's the case. Logically, you kind of understand that doesn't seem like that's what's in store for me. But it feels like, see, there's two minds to us. There's a logical mind and there's this almost like heart mind. Let's call it the heart. The heart keeps thinking that, no, I'm genuinely in danger over my life, or this is going to be the worst disaster of my life. But ask yourself, is it really? You have to ask yourself this. I covered this Socratic questioning. I forget what the title of the video was, but I covered this in one of my other videos. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. Ask yourself, question these fears. Because you have to understand that panic disorder is like that Chinese finger trap. The harder you pull, the more stuck you get. The harder you try to resist, the harder you allow your heart to fight this or to try to run away. How are you going to run away? How are you going to run away? So it's fight or flight, right? You can try to fight. How are you going to fight your panic attack? You can't. How are you going to run away from your panic attack? You can't. There is nothing that you can do except to stop the fighting, lose the battle, and win the war. That's how it works. If you allow yourself, if you get into the mental state, the mind state of, I'm going to allow myself to get beat to crap, like Gandhi. If you get into the mental state of Gandhi, if I allow the panic attack to do with me as it wishes, if I just give it full permission, to dominate me, to do whatever it wants. At least in theory. The theory says, Adam says, the theory says, I'm going to win the war. When you truly surrender, and I mean like not just up here. This is where people go wrong. People will say to themselves, they confuse making, what do you call them? Like reaffirming or affirmating. They confuse affirmations for true conviction. Affirmations can help you get to true conviction, but just saying to yourself, I surrender. That's not a surrender. That's not a surrender. It's your heart. It's something deeper than that. We know in many psychological theories we recognize. In CBT we don't really recognize this so much, but in a lot of therapeutic orientations we recognize that there's a deeper part of us. There's a logical part of us, but there's also a deeper part of us. And there really is. I mean, if you really observe it, it's hard to touch. It's hard to touch. It's hard to pin down. I think in a lot of theories, it's touched through symbolism. Symbolism tends to get at the heart more than cognition and thoughts, right? But there is a deeper, and the deeper part of us. That's the one that's convinced that the panic attack is going to kill us, and that's the part that has to stop. That's the part that has to say that you have to reach a point of just, I guess, for some it might be just a point of total exhaustion. It's like you reach a point where you say to yourself, look, I got two options before me. I can, one, keep trying to do what I've been doing, which is like freaking out about it and get nowhere because I freaked out. How many panic attacks have I had already? I've had hundreds of panic attacks. How many more freakouts can I possibly have? Is that really going to help me? Is anything going to change? Can I rationally think that anything's going to change? No. But your heart has to see that. Your heart has to believe that. So next time you have a panic attack, your heart says, I've already tried these ways. I've already tried fighting and running and whatever, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Let me try just giving into it. Let me lean back into it. And for me, there's a symbolic visual. And actually for me, my symbolic visual for doing that is kind of like this. Literally leaning into it. Just lean back into it. Go ahead. And as the panic comes, I just allow it to flood over me, and I repeat to myself. I do the affirmations. I repeat them to make sure that that switch in my mind doesn't get turned off, right? Because sometimes when you manage to turn the switch on, sometimes it can switch off. So I repeat the mantra for myself, like, go ahead. I'm not gonna fight you anymore. I'm not resisting anymore. Lean into it, because you have a moment of decision, right? You've already tried the other way. Why not try it that other way, that theoretical way that I'm suggesting to you right now, the surrender way? Why not try what Gandhi was doing? You know, fighting an experience, we know this actually, this is a paradoxical theory of change. What I'm talking about, that's essentially paradoxical theory of change. Until we accept what we think is happening, we will never change. So if you think you're about to die, if you think you're about to get embarrassed, if you think you're about to get just irrevocably embarrassed, you're going to lose your job, you're going to you have to accept it. Until you accept that, nothing's going to change. And trust me, oh my God, the moment you truly accept that, you can feel it. You can feel the difference. When you really accept it in your heart, you will feel it. It's a sense of, I want to call it, I remember it felt kind of like a relaxation. I was still nervous and apprehensive, but for me, the way I would remember it is, it's a form of relaxation, kind of like where you're tense because you're on guard. You suddenly go like, screw it. You know what? F it. I'm done resisting. F it. Do what you want. And it's like a leaning back. It's a leaning back. When you do it right, when you will feel a difference, and your panic, if you do it during a panic attack, it will fade. It will fade almost instantly. Almost instantly, if not instantly. I hope, how long have I been ranting? 9 minutes? All right. I hope this helps take you a little bit farther. What I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to take the same ideas and spin them in a little different ways, to combine different concepts to help you get to where you got to go. One thing I forgot to really include in this is how anger can play a role here. And I'm gonna drop this. I'm gonna drop this hint here. I mentioned in another video that anger helps. Anger is an approach emotion. Anger can help you. Anger can help you do this. Let me give you an image of why anger can help you. You know how people say, if I'm going down, you're going down with me? That's what I'm talking about. Panic lives within you. And if it's threatening to kill you, it's going to kill itself. So come on along with me, buddy. Let's go. We're both going down. It's what Gandhi does. You know, Gandhi's a little bit different, but Gandhi channels his anger. I can't imagine the guy wasn't pissed. He must have been pissed. But he found a way to channel his anger into non-resistance. So he channeled his anger, knowing he probably kept reminding himself, okay, I'm doing this because I'm really mad at these people here. And by not resisting, I'm making a big point, a bigger point than if I was to shoot them or hurt them, right? He was channeling. So same thing. Maybe you can try that. Maybe you can try the Gandhi way, or maybe you can say to it, you know what? If I'm going down, you're going down with me. There is an aggression there. It's a aggression. Remember, aggression is an approach emotion, right? Fear is run away more often, unless you're cornered. Then it's a fight. But if you're not cornered, you're gonna run away. That's just how fear works. Aggression is an approach emotion. It makes you move towards the danger. It makes you move towards the danger to actually prevent a bigger loss, right? So feed that anger, and maybe you can apply that way. Maybe you can say to you what I just said, along the lines of, you're gonna go down with me, or I'm so frustrated with you that I'm willing to try something absolutely desperate that might hurt me. Now, by the way, I don't mean anything that would actually literally hurt you. I mean, stop fighting the panic, right? Because you believe in your mind that if you stop fighting the panic, or if you give up the panic, or the real threat of the panic in your mind is that it's going to hurt you, embarrass you, kill you maybe, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anything actual physically tangible, like, right? I don't want somebody doing something stupid. So common sense, please keep your common sense about you. Yeah, so, I'm probably going to make another video on the anger thing. If you want me to, if it's not clear, let me know. It helps me to know what you guys want me to talk about. And yeah, now hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.